So if you didn't like the man you saw in the mirror this morning, you don't have to see him again tomorrow. Make one decision, then do it again, and do it again, and again.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Dangerous Gentleman podcast. This is where I tell modern-day parables, stories and lessons I learned as I rebuilt my life from being a homeless drug addict to a man living with purpose, conviction, and faith. My mission is to help other men rebuild their lives, reclaim their strength, and lead with courage, physically, spiritually, and mentally. So if you're ready to start your own dangerous path, reach out to me in the comments or in my DMs, and we'll talk. Now, let's get on to today's episode.
There once was a man who didn't like the person he saw in the mirror every morning. He didn't like the outside, and he sure as hell didn't like what he knew was on the inside either. It didn't happen overnight, and he knew that too. But today he saw it all. The warts, the scars, the stubble, the blank expression. It was all telling the truth about the man he'd become. And in case you're wondering, that man was me. And it might be you too. If you ever looked in the mirror and not like the man staring back, drop "I hear you" down in the comments right now. I read every single one. I will get back to you because you're not alone, and neither was I.
But here's the thing. If you're brave enough to really look, you're already further along than most men ever get. Because most guys, they avoid looking in the mirror altogether. They hide in the noise. They perform. They numb. They never stop long enough to face what they've really become. But you did, even if it hurt. And now that you're here, you've got a choice to make. You can ignore what you see, or you can get honest. This next part's going to hurt a little, but by the end, you might see your own reflection just a little bit differently. You probably have good reason to not like the man in the mirror. He's not the man you imagined he'd be at this stage in his life. And you don't trust him. And for good reason, because he's not trustworthy. He's let you down over and over and over again. He's probably fat and out of shape, and he hasn't met one single expectation you had. He's underachieving at work, he's not a good husband, and he's not a good father. Maybe he works hard, but he's still broke. The savings account you thought he'd have by now is also empty. He's friendly, but completely alone. He smiles all day and jokes, but that just masks that inner sadness, an ache that creeps up in the moment he's finally alone at the end of the day. Instead of a well-respected man in that reflection, you see a guy whose wife nags him constantly, whose kids never listen to him, and whose boss abuses him all day long. Don't worry, hope's coming, because here's the most brutal truth of all. The man in that reflection, he doesn't lie. He's the most honest thing you'll see all day. And that man is you, stripped down, raw. And he doesn't care what you say, he cares what you do. And you know you can do better. I promise you, when you do, that reflection will change. The Bible offers clarity and hope for the man you see in the mirror. James 1:23 and 24 says, "For anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he's like a man who looks intently at his natural face in a mirror. For he looks at himself and goes away, and at once forgets what he was like." If all you do is talk about change, but never act, you'll forget who that man even was. You'll go right back to pretending, back to performing, back to the old you. But when you take action, when you actually do something, that reflection becomes a reminder, not a regret. And the more you return to that mirror with honesty and humility, the more that reflection starts to change. Paul says it this way in 2 Corinthians 3:18. "And we all, with unveiled face, beholding the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. For this comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit." That's the real goal. The ultimate reflection isn't just a better version of you, it's of Jesus. You won't reach it perfectly. No one ever will. But every day you show up with integrity, you get 1 degree closer. I've got one quick question for you. What's one small habit that you could start today that would start to move the needle? Drop it in the comments. I'll get back to you. And I've seen this truth play out, not just in scripture, but in some of the toughest men alive. Even guys like David Goggins, who's a Navy SEAL, an ultra runner, and hard as nails, talks about standing in front of a mirror. He weighed 300 pounds, he was ashamed and lost, and he finally got honest about who he really was. He didn't just pray, he didn't just quote scripture, but he stopped lying to himself. And that's where it started for him, and that's where it can start with you too. Ask me how I know. Because I did it too. For me, it started with trust. When my life completely crashed out around me, when I lost my kids, my wife, my job, my house, absolutely everything, I had to take a long, hard look at who I had become. I betrayed almost every single person close to me, and I had been betrayed by the one person I thought I could trust the most. I felt hopeless. All I could see were burned out bridges on all sides and no way to get off the island that I had built for myself. And that's when I started having real conversations. One of them was with my friend James. I asked him how I could ever possibly rebuild trust with anyone else or have anyone ever trust me again. And he said, the best way to learn how to trust again is to become trustworthy yourself first. And that hit me hard because the person I trusted the least was me. For most of my life, I prided myself on keeping my word to others. If I said I'd do something, I'd do it, no matter what it costs or how much it hurt me. But when it came to promises I made to myself, it was a completely different story. If someone else asked me to show up, I'd be there. But if I told myself I'd go to the gym, if I'd get up early, if I'd start eating better, or start some kind of project, I would make every excuse in the book and broke way more promises than I kept. And that wore that man in the mirror down to almost nothing.
Then I saw that famous YouTube video, the one where the admiral's talking about making your bed. Sounds simple, right? Just a small decision. But I decided that tomorrow morning, I'm going to do that no matter what. Guess what? It took me 30 seconds. But when I came home that night, it was all worth it. Because something clicked. After all those years of bad decisions, I made a good one. And the next day, I did it again. And then again, and again. That was 2018. And I haven't missed a day since.
From there, it was small wins. Healthy lunches, early mornings, Bible reading, and prayer. Every single day, no matter what. And now, when I look in the mirror, I still see me, but I trust me because I put in the work and I know what that produces.
So if you didn't like the man you saw in the mirror this morning, you don't have to see him again tomorrow. Make one decision, then do it again, and do it again, and again. Learn to trust yourself, because consistency, well, that's the ultimate superpower.
And this is what I'm passionate about. It's how I rebuilt my life, and it can help you rebuild yours. So drop the word mirror down in the comments, and I promise I'll respond. And if you want the 5 most important habits I use to rebuild my life, check the link down in the description for a free download and get started today. And while you're at it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell because you don't want to miss the next episode where we talk about the power of brotherhood and refried pea.
So if you like this content, please give it a rating, a review, and share it with your friends. Also, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about me and what I'm all about and what I can maybe do for you, check out my website at thedangerousgentleman.org. That's thedangerousgentleman.org. Thank you for listening.